up, guys? Welcome back to the Yee Yee podcast. It is episode 17, July 7th. July 7th, that's a lot of sevens. Today, my name is Hayden. I am the marketing director at Yee Yee Apparel, and today we have 3 other people on the episode, so we're going to have 4 total. We'll go ahead and kick it around because if you've been listening to us, you've heard of all these people, but Ben and Brian haven't been on in a while. So,
Hey
Brian,
guys.
why don't you introduce yourself?
How's it going? My name is Brian. I do all the photo and video stuff here, and it might look like we're in a new room today, but we're just working with a new setup.
But we're not. We're in the same room. Those are the tricks of the trade in the video world.
That's right. So let us know what you think about this setup.
Yeah, let us know what you think about it. It feels a little bit more relaxed. Hayden and I aren't just on a bar stool.
Who are you? You didn't even introduce yourself.
The man that needs no introduction.
Yeah.
Hello. You probably know who I am by now, guys. Come on. My name is Parker Smith. I am the CEO of Yee Yee Apparel and Yee Yee Enterprises. I don't really like calling it Yee Yee Apparel anymore because we're doing different things.
Well, in a year, we're going to look back and laugh that we called it just apparel because we're going
Yeah.
to have so many more different things.
Yeah. So, but then you just say, I work at Yee Yee, and then people are like, what's Yee Yee? I don't know. Yee Yee Ventures?
Something like that.
Yee Yee. You guys get the point. Ben?
And then we've got Ben over here.
Hey guys, I'm Ben, and I do most of the social media. Hayden helps out with a lot of it too, and run the influencer program here. And we're actually working on some cool stuff, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, so if you've been keeping up with our socials at all, we've been doing, we're going to start probably getting into the sports world. We don't know if we have just a few more ambassadors or if we just opened up a sports agency. We're not really sure. I don't think anyone knows what's going on with the new rules that were just released, the NIL rules, which stands for name, image, likeness in NCAA. So we're going to get into that in a minute, and that's going to be the bulk of this episode. But first, we just finished up with July 4th. That's basically our Super Bowl. It was funny because this is the first time that Ben has been running all the socials, like doing most of the heavy lifting, because it's been me like the last 2 years, and then before I was here, it was Parker. And so I was telling him, I was like, this is literally our Super Bowl. Like, imagine the biggest day of the year for a patriotic brand like ours. July 4th is the best. How many pieces of content did we post?
Gosh, it must have been north of 60. We had a lot of posts.
It was definitely the most we've ever posted in a day, I think.
I used to be super self-conscious about that and felt like we were flooding people's feeds, but nowadays I just think that more is better. And I mean, it was like pretty consistent engagement on all of the stuff. I thought it was great.
It's been interesting too because we've seen the socials do a little bit better here recently, and we went through like a few days where we thought we were shadow banned, which I feel like if we even say shadow banned on this podcast, we're gonna immediately get shadow banned on YouTube. But yeah, it was encouraging to see a lot of that content do pretty well. And so what did y'all do for July 4th? What did you do, Brian?
I played golf Sunday morning, and then I went to Granger's show in Leander, Texas. It was a good time.
Brian is now a full-time golfer, and then he does video
Yes.
at Yee Yee on the side now. I feel like
It's a grind, for sure.
This weekend I was at, so we have like friends that all kind of intermix from different groups, and I've got we both have a friend that is professional golfer. He's on the
Yes.
It's not called the Adams Tour.
The All-Pro Tour.
The All-Pro Tour. And his name's Blake. And I was telling him about this idea that Brian and I had because Brian's trying to qualify for the Texas Open.
Texas State Open.
Texas State Open. And Brian was thinking about trying to qualify. And you can talk a little bit more about this, but it's super serious. Like, professional golfers are playing this. So tell people about our idea that we had.
Well, it started out as a joke to have Hayden caddy for me during this Texas State Open qualifier, which we soon realized would probably make a lot of people mad.
Yeah, Blake was like, you can't do it. You just can't.
Well,
And
just
Blake's-
to have a caddy or to have a caddy wearing what you were planning on wearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hayden was going to wear a full-on caddy bib and just be very obnoxious for content.
So caddy bib is basically like white overalls, which that's from the Masters.
The Masters.
'Cause that's a tradition there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a history just in golf, like way back in the day at some courses. caddies would wear like these white bibs.
We were gonna film it and do like vlog style of our videographer tries to make the Texas State Open.
Yes.
But then Blake, who's a very humorous guy, he immediately was like, "You can't do that." He goes, "You're gonna really tick people off. Like, you can't do it." Like, what if this? What if that? He's like, "No, just stop trying to make it a thing. That's bad. You can't do that."
Yeah, you have a lot of guys out there trying to really make a living playing golf, and so any sort of distraction like that can tick people off.
I can see the headline now. It's like, washed up content guy tries to be funny wearing a milkman outfit as a caddy. Are there even caddies at this event?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you can have one, but not many people do.
People would hate you if you had a caddy, especially dressed like that.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's because I'm playing golf more or just because we're paying attention to it more, but I swear I keep seeing more comments than I've ever seen to make golf polos. I'm really tempted to do it, but I just know that'd be so expensive.
I think we should.
Yeah.
It would be such a high minimum order quantity that we would have to order, so we may get stuck with them. But
If you're watching on YouTube right now, comment below if you want us to do golf polos, because we've seen there's been a lot of these products over the last, even my time here, just the last 3-4 years, whatever, that you would see the one-offs here and there, like, y'all should make this, y'all should make that, and then eventually it's like you're getting a ton of those comments, and golf polos is definitely one of those. And I think someone told me one time that a lot of people have to wear, like, Monday through Thursday they have to wear a certain uniform or whatever they do, and then Friday they get to wear jeans and a polo, and so they get to wear whatever they want. It doesn't have to be company. So I always thought that it'd be really cool to have like Friday Polo Day, and you just got a ton of people across the country in Yee Yee Nation wearing polos.
Do you think golfers would wear a camo polo, or would that be too tacky? Or what if I made it like it could be like a black camo?
I think like a black camo or like a
I feel like I've seen Brooks Koepka wear like a camo type.
Yeah, he does. It'd have to be super sleek though.
yeah, something very sleek.
And I guess that we wouldn't want to do like a sleek green camo. It'd be like a really dark black and charcoal or something.
Mm-hmm.
Could always go black with like camo like details on it too.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good.
Or like a really faded kind of camo, where it's not too colorful.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
I went to the river in New Braunfels and floated, which is like the funnest thing you can do. If you're listening and you've never floated on the river, it's like you got to do that. It's got to be on the bucket list. Especially, I like Texas rivers. I've never floated anywhere else, but I always feel like there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, that's not a Texas thing. That's everywhere." So,
Had you ever heard of that before you moved down here, Ben?
I've floated a river before, but I feel like it's different just from what I've heard here.
Dude, it's such a party, and on July 4th it was insane. It was so cool to see, because in Texas it's a little bit different. Like, we've been open for a little while, but if you think back, July was a completely different time. Like, things were still fresh last year with the whole thing that we aren't going to talk about. But yeah, it was awesome. It was fully back. I saw Parker McCollum at Whitewater Amphitheater, and the show was awesome. It was sold out. There were tons of people there, like not a mask in sight. It was awesome. And then what's up?
I was gonna say, was the river very crowded?
It wasn't as crowded as I thought it was going to be. I've definitely been in years before where it wasn't a holiday weekend, and it was way more packed.
That's so weird. I would have thought
Yes.
everybody would have been out.
I heard that the Comal, which there's two rivers in New Braunfels, the Comal was really packed. That goes right
Y'all
through
did the
town.
Guadalupe?
We did the Guad, yeah. And the Guad's like a little bit prettier, I would say. But yeah, it was awesome.
I was pretty spoiled to grow up floating the Frio River. Lived
Yeah.
about 20 minutes from there, and so holiday weekends like this was definitely super packed.
Yeah, you got me into the Frio River. I've never been, but now, like, I was looking at pictures and stuff after we were talking about it. It looks sick. The view looks awesome, mainly.
Why are Texas rivers so cold? Does anybody know?
I can just speak for the Frio, but its headwaters is like from natural springs, I think. And
I was gonna say maybe they come from the Rockies, so it's like always
Yeah.
snow coming down.
There's no way There's no way that that's right. The Rockies are so far from here.
No, I do think that originally they come from the Rockies, but
Yeah, but that's not what makes it cold. There's no way that's. I think he's right.
Yeah, the natural springs in the ground.
Sorry, Ben. I didn't mean to just totally call you out.
Have you ever heard of British Columbia? So the water from there trickles all the way down to Texas.
Well, rivers do. Where do rivers come from?
Mountains.
Yeah,
They just come
it's been It's been eroded over time.
from, like, in the mountain.
No, from water drainage.
So it just flows down.
Well,
from
not
a
necessarily
mountain.
mountains, like anywhere.
But like, where does it
the
start?
Colorado River has to come from the Rockies. I don't know that it'd still be cold when it goes through Austin, but
Where does water start?
Yeah, where does is there a
water
spot where a
wet?
river
Is
like
water wet?
starts? Is it just like at a mountain and it's just like, all right, there it is?
I think we need a 4th grade lesson.
Are you
this
smarter
is
than a fifth
this is
grader?
a question on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I guarantee you that show, whenever Jeff Foxworthy hosted it, this was a question, and we would have all failed right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So we all ended up on Sunday night, which was July 4th. We ended up at Granger's show in Leander, which was awesome. I always love July 4th shows. There's something special about fireworks, baseball, country music, hot dogs on the grill, beer. There's just something about like all those things, and I think all that was going on July 4th. So the show was awesome. It was free. Leander's like 20 minutes from us. That's 2 years in a row Granger's played hometown shows, which is always nice because you can definitely sometimes be out on the road. Last year was Round Rock, right?
Yep.
Del Diamond.
Yep. Yeah, and that was great. I love being on a baseball field and like just the nice grass, and you don't have to worry about ants or mud or anything. And it rained pretty bad in Leander, but it was still, I felt like I was at like a big time Midwest festival. There was, I mean, it felt like there's like 10,000 people there. There's
crowd
probably
was really
nothing
good.
close to that, but it was just so cool seeing like people like spread out all the way into the distance with like a sunset, and they had like food trucks and everything. I had a blast, and I usually don't have that much fun at shows, I guess.
You were also out in the crowd this time. Usually we're like side stage. It's like, it's not that fun. It's like, well, you're standing there. But
I
if
was
you're out in
also
the crowd-
I was also with a group of friends that have none of them have ever been to a concert, and they were just having so much fun jumping up and down and stuff, and I was just like feeding off their energy. I was just like, yeah, this is fun.
That was my first show back, I think, since late 2019. So it was cool to see.
Ben said it was his first show working here.
yeah.
He's seen Granger before, but first show.
I think that was my first show working here, actually, too.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the sound like just went off like twice,
did.
right, in the middle of
It
the
did.
concert. That was crazy.
Granger's so good at just rolling with it, and I guess that's what happens whenever you've played like a lot of small, like just done the come up and played small venues where that probably happens every week. But he was like, just rolled with it so well. But I would just freak out. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, that job requires a lot of patience and damage control in high pressure situations with a lot of hot-headed people. Like, I know that they had to make a long haul from Missouri to get there, and they were already behind. And then they had issues with the stage because of the band before, and like they were just thankful to get out of there without anything too disastrous happening, I guess. But
Yeah, that's what
I
happens.
mean, I had
every
fun.
day.
I was just in the crowd.
And
I
I'm
was
just
like,
over here making memes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's real stressful. A lot of hot heads.
That is interesting because we all work on the brand side, and then we go to a show and we don't do anything. We have nothing to contribute except like, I mean, literally nothing to contribute really, except maybe like some social media posts, like or content from the show. So I always feel kind of like a mooch at those shows. I was telling Hayden the other day, I was like, I always feel just in the way on the bus and stuff. So I enjoy just going out in the crowd and just kind of being a fly on the wall.
Speaking of saving July 4th, Joey Chestnut, who, if you didn't know, Joey Chestnut is possibly the best sports athlete of all time. He is a legendary hot dog eater. And
Is
By
eating
the-
hot dogs considered a sport?
so,
I would.
embrace debate. Do you say eating hot dogs is a
I
sport?
would. Yeah.
What do you think?
No.
I'm gonna go with yeah.
I'm going to say
To that
no.
degree.
But I'm obsessed with saying, is he the best athlete of all time?
Is it an Olympic deal?
Oh, gosh, no.
I mean, does he like walk around with a flag around his...
well, and that's another thing is,
He does actually in that picture.
really?
just because there's a
Yeah.
lot of international contestants.
Kobayashi. Remember Kobayashi came for the crowd a few times a few years ago.
Was he Japanese?
I think so. But imagine a sport where you're able to just work, or imagine anything where you're able to work one day of the year and then just be fine. Like, no one hears about Joey Chestnut every year for the last 14 years. No one's heard of him. No one's heard about him. And then one day of the year, it's like he just is housing hot dogs.
To be honest, I kind of forget his name throughout
Right.
the year, and then you're like, you hear it early July, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy that eats hot dogs,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
So he broke the record. His former record was 74 hot dogs, and 74 hot dogs in any time period is insane. He did it in 10 minutes. Then this year broke his record from 2 years ago, and he ate 76 hot dogs,
Wow.
which is just,
Gross.
I saw he's blowing up on TikTok right now.
dude, his TikTok is insane.
They're pretty funny.
He's funny. He'll get someone to bring him, like, it's not just eating. He can house anything. They'll bring him like a gallon of milk, and he just plays it off. You know, it's obviously planned. And then he'll just open up this gallon of milk and just push in the back of it and finish it within, 15 seconds. It's disgusting.
Just a straight
gallon of
garbage
milk.
disposal.
Yeah, yeah. And he just talk about a gross human being. What do you think he was feeling like on July 5th?
Oh, awful.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat in 10 minutes?
I think at most I could eat like 5, maybe.
You think you could eat 5 hot dogs in 10
Maybe.
minutes?
Honestly, I don't even know if I could do that.
We should do it. We should do it and film it.
I saw Barstool did that. They
Oh.
said, how fast can you eat? They did a thing where it's how fast can you eat one hot dog?
Oh, see, that's like a choking hazard more so than eating 5 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that is a little dangerous, actually. Does
And-
anybody know CPR here? Or the Heimlich, I
I'm
guess?
certified,
I'm
but
certified.
I'm
You are?
certified, but I don't remember it.
I need to learn it, honestly.
Well, I think my certification went up. Yeah, I always think about that. I'm always a little scared that if someone just
Yeah.
I'd be screwed. I
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
to do. We should do that. We
do it.
should film you eating hot dogs. Would you do the water dunking, or would you just eat them dry?
I think I would eat it dry. I feel like the water dunking is kind of gross.
I mean, it's really gross, but how else are you gonna eat 5 hot dogs in 10 minutes?
I don't know.
You just wouldn't. Not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
unless it was like $500 or something.
It's just crazy to think about that many. It seems it's insane. What's funny too is that now gambling has gotten so big that there were videos I saw of, like, you can make all these random bets on it, but there was this group of guys all hanging out, and they bet the over. So they bet that he would eat more than 10 hot dogs in like the first however many seconds or whatever. And so he hit the 11th hot dog right as the clock went out. And it's just 5 dudes all wearing USA stuff, just screaming and yelling, like so pumped. It's like, man, find something a little bit better to gamble on. That's crazy. So, and then the other viral video, can you put any of these viral videos in here?
Yeah,
by the
we'll
way?
put this one in here.
Okay. Mark Zuckerberg,
Yep.
why don't you explain to people what happened?
So I don't even know what the thing that he was on was called.
I don't know what they're called, but
It's like, it's not a wakeboard, but it's like a surfboard in the water. You bounce up and down, and you get momentum. And I think you have to go off the wake on the back of a boat. And it's just him holding an American flag. I think he's wearing like a long sleeve T-shirt, like just a classic Mark Zuckerberg at sunset, holding an American flag. I don't even remember what song.
I don't know
that
what
was
song
playing.
it was. I know I think it was in Michigan, maybe, or Wisconsin or somewhere.
But I think it single-handedly united the internet this past weekend.
Dude, people were mean about it, and like, I heard a lot of people say, no matter what you think about that video, it's hard enough to ride one of those. Then you have like a pole with a flag that's catching wind. Like, that's impressive. So I mean, kudos to Mark Zuckerberg, I think.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat while riding one of those?
How many do you think he could eat at all?
I don't know.
He's an under.
Mark?
He's an under 5 hot dog.
He may just be like a crazy person and just be able to down like 20, though. Who knows?
Well,
The
I
guy-
also think he's a robot.
I bet he could just like, snap his fingers and like just go. I don't know.
Like a SpongeBob episode, just where there's an episode where SpongeBob just inhales Krabby
Yeah.
Patty.
Yeah, when he eats, so SpongeBob's mom makes those
Just
cookies,
vacuum.
and then
Yeah,
his mouth turns into a vacuum. Just
That's what it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think he eats, actually. I think he's just a robot.
Mm.
I don't
that's
even think
funny.
I could eat 76 chicken nuggets in 10 minutes.
I agree.
No. Not a chance.
We can make a video out of that, though, like hot dogs. How many hot dogs can you eat in 10 minutes? And then, like, us 4 go against each other. I just felt so bad for Joey Chestnut on July 5th. Like that's got to be. Do you think he makes himself throw up?
You got to. I've heard there's like a lot of like dietary training that goes into this. And it's like what you're even like afterwards, like recovering from
Has to
that
be.
day too, because it's just. And I wonder if they take any sort of like medication or stomach medicine or something to prepare for this. I don't know.
Got to be against the rules.
Someone's
Like performance enhancing drugs.
Someone said because there's the Olympic runner that just got in trouble for marijuana, and so that's like a hot topic right now. And someone said, "Do you think that marijuana would be performance enhancing drugs in the hot dog eating contest because it just makes you want to eat more?" Like that's a good point. All right, we're gonna go to break. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? Tyler told me that I have to read off Granger's dates to y'all. So just listen up real quick. Listen for your town. These were just released on Monday. If you go to grangersmith.com/tour, you can use code YEERADIO, and that's going to get you early access to these tickets before they go to the general sale or the general public on Friday. We've got Terre Haute, I think that's how you say it, Terre Haute, Indiana, Washington, Pennsylvania, Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, Portland, Maine, Cedar Park, Texas, Royal Oak, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Medina, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Spokane, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Chico, California, Sacramento, California, San Diego, California, Bakersfield, California, Fort Worth, Texas.
Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's. Go to grangersmith.com/tour and use code YEERADIO. That's going to be good until Friday. And on Friday, all of those tickets are going to go on sale to the general public.
Welcome back to the podcast. So NCAA just announced college athletes are able to use their own. How do I phrase this? They're able to use their own likeness and
Name, image, likeness.
yeah, name, image, likeness. So that's a lawyer version of saying that they can get paid to do sponsored posts on social media. They can have their name on T-shirts and sell it if they want to, and that sort of thing. And I think it's going to be a day that we look back on that is a day that will go down in history, really, because it's just insane that these guys are old enough to serve their country, but they can't make a T-shirt with their name on it. And it's about time.
So this is huge for the fans of the NCAA football games, video games.
That's mostly what I care about.
Yeah, that's
about the
what
whole
I'm
thing.
excited about.
You know, that's kind of what made this happen because someone sued NCAA.
Yep. And so that's kind of what took down that game in the first place. Back in 2014 was the last version of it, is because there was the controversy of good players being on the game and not being able to make money off of their likeness, even though they were on the game. And so I'm pretty excited for that.
Do you remember how you used to like just it'd be like 2009 or 2010? It would be Vince Young, or it wasn't Vince Young. He was like tall, same like build and everything, number 10, and he had the same wristbands in the exact same spot as Vince Young, but he wasn't named Vince Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was QB number 10.
Yeah, QB
Yep.
number 10.
Yeah, what a joke that
Classic.
was.
Mm-hmm. But then you could go in and people
Right.
would make rosters and you could download them and
So stupid.
create it.
Yeah,
But
you just immediately download the roster, and then it would have everybody's name on it.
Yeah.
How much do you think a player will get paid to be in the NCAA video game?
Well, did you know that Madden players people get a paycheck from Madden, NFL players? So I don't know. I mean, I think that
Do you think it's like a one-time? Well, I guess.
yeah,
It's,
and
I
everyone's
don't
gonna
know. I
get
have
paid.
no idea
Everyone's
how it
gonna
works.
get paid the same on NCAA. But I mean, that's just the video game. Obviously, there's so many more different avenues with this. But I think that that's still like in the future because they're gonna have to do all. I mean, the video game developers. That's gonna take years. I think
Yeah.
they've already been. They announced like last year that they've been working on this, but they said that the date was like 2024, 25. Like it's still gonna be a while.
that's depressing. So what happens if you're on the cover? Surely you have to make more money.
Yeah,
for
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah, you've got to.
So what's interesting?
That's the other, well, I guess the cover player was always somebody. Was it someone going into their senior year, or was it somebody who had just graduated?
I think just graduated.
Oh, there's probably a reason for that.
Because I remember like Reggie Bush was on it. 2005.
I don't
maybe?
know. I don't remember because
I
it
don't
wouldn't really
remember.
make sense because I thought they would like hype up the player
True.
to get you to want to play the game.
I don't know. Maybe the player just couldn't make money off of that.
So what's happening right now? I mean, NCAA video game is such a small portion of it. So what happened was NCAA, the Supreme Court ruled. I think it was 9-0. I mean, it was unanimous. I think they ruled that. So the NIL is what they're calling it, name, image, likeness. So players can profit off of that. And I've been like reading a bunch of stuff because I like sports, and it's crazy all the different like the first thing that everybody did was a rush to Cameo. So if you're not familiar with Cameo, Granger's still on it. You can go on there, pay whatever that celebrity or person picks their cost to be, and you can tell them what you want to say. So if I wanted to get Parker a birthday shout out message from his favorite NCAA athlete, I can do that, and now that NCAA athlete can make money on that. Typically they couldn't. So those are and then merch. Like merch is another obvious one. Like all those things are the obvious ones, but what's interesting is there was a football player that tweeted out, and he's gotten like kind of a TikTok following off of playing guitar and singing. And he tweeted out and was like, I am now open for business. Like my band and I want to play, like we're willing to travel. So it's everyone thinks about like merch and those are the obvious things. But what about these guys that are creatives, you know, and they paint, or that, you know, they do art, or they're in a band or whatever. It's like now these guys can actually make money off of that, which is something that's really interesting. Another thing I thought about is like we had this happen. Think about the guy that comes from a town of 10,000 and goes to play football at Texas A&M, and then in the summer he now can go back, and he's like a hero in his hometown. He now can go back and do a camp for kids, and he could make money off of it. Typically he couldn't make money, so that's another really interesting thing.
That is.
There's a wrench in everything.
How many athletes do we have now, Ben? How's all that going?
Just over 30 this morning, but it might even be 40 by now. We've had a ton signing up.
So tell people what has been happening, because there's all of this that's happening out in the NCAA world, but then talk a little bit about, because Ben's kind of been heading this up, talk a little bit about how we're trying to get it on this. And let me also say, like, nobody knows what's going on really right now. It's like the Wild West. Like there are like mega companies that are just sitting there not doing anything, and then there are small companies like that are doing all kinds of stuff. So it's crazy how everything's working out. So tell the listeners like what it's looking like for us in our plan.
So just in general, we're kind of looking at how we can help these athletes out, as well as kind of like have them spread around our brand as well. And we've had a ton of people just reaching out to us and saying, I want to be the first Yee Yee athlete. But it's really cool because we have all these, it's a similar situation to the person who comes from a small town. They might not have a huge social media following, but they've always loved what Yee Yee stands for and everything like that. So they reach out to us and they say, I want to be the first Yee Yee athlete. Maybe they don't have the biggest social media following, but that's not the biggest thing here. It's like you go to their Instagram page and they're all about the outdoors and just like really everything we stand for as well. So it's really cool just to see how we can kind of partner up with all these people who have been fans of us for the long time, and I can relate to that personally as well.
Yeah, so you played college football, so some people may not know that.
So for those of you who don't know, I played Division III college football. I was lucky enough to kind of extend my career beyond high school, and I had a ton of fun with it. And so I can definitely relate to these people like who are coming up, and they're athletes but also fans of Yee Yee. That was my life a year and a half ago even.
Well, Parker, you gonna say something?
I'm trying to find who's like a really big time college athlete right now that I could find on Cameo. I want to see how much they are.
Yeah, so that's what's really interesting right now is how much some of these athletes are going for. So have you heard of Olivia Dunn? I think is her name. Olivia Dunn, one of the two. She is a gymnast at LSU who has like 4 million plus on TikTok and 1.1 million on Instagram. And so early reports are that she's probably going to go for upwards of $1 million this year. Like that sounds bad, like she's going to go for it, but she's going to do so many different brand sponsorships. And there's a difference between the offensive lineman from a D2 school that doesn't really have a social following. He's a good old country boy, and like that's the person that we want, by the way. And then there's a difference between that and Olivia Dunning. Like, she is going to sign with a energy drink company, and it's going to be, you can't sign with any other drink company, no other beverage company. This is your beverage company. This is all you can sign with. You're locked in. So there are a lot of artists, or sorry, not artists. I'm so used to saying that. There are a lot of athletes that are obviously going to be on different playing fields than others. You know what I was thinking about, Parker, is how much do you think Johnny Manziel would have made back in the day?
Yeah, I know, right?
God.
Brand the whole Johnny football thing. Like,
I mean, he could have sold 1 million shirts.
yeah.
And A&M did with the number 2, and he didn't get a dime.
Isn't that crazy?
That was always the funniest, was like you'd go into like the pro shop or whatever, like the campus bookstore, and you'd buy a jersey with number 2 on it, and it's definitely not Johnny Manziel because it's like that he couldn't profit from it, so they just put a number 2, no name on it.
You know who else? Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher, the water boy.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, he could have made millions. That merch would have been fire, dude. He would have had some fire merch. He would have he definitely would have gotten a sponsorship from Dasani. Can you imagine Dasani and Ozark Water just battling it out for Bobby Boucher? I found a tweet from Johnny. Johnny's been going off because like he got screwed from all of this, and so he tweeted and said, "Set up a business, create Shopify account, design merch with fulfillment to ship, and handle customer service. Tweet and Instagram directly to your fan base. Make bank, bros." And it's funny. So I have a buddy that said 8K to get started is all you need, with a laughing emoji face, which there's more to it than just that. Like, we know that's literally what we've done on a larger scale. But I mean, Johnny is like going on Instagram Live, and he's going on podcasts to talk about what these athletes should be doing, because now he's in that world. He's in the branding world. But I was thinking about different artists, or not, God, I keep saying artists, athletes.
Which Johnny did make money in college, but it wasn't.
Well, and that's the other thing, is there's a lot of that going on, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, you can't tell me Coach K hasn't given his players
Exactly.
a dime after all these years. Sorry if there's any Duke fans out there.
American college sports are so interesting to me because it's such a moneymaker, and there's so many eyeballs, but these guys are so young and they're just in college. That's such an American thing. I feel like I was thinking about that the other day. I was like watching the Euro Cup soccer international. It's like, I wonder if these other countries look at us like they're watching a college sport, university students. And like, I mean, a lot of people, like, I don't even really watch the NFL. I just watch college football. That's such a American thing, and you'd think it would be the opposite.
Yeah.
But I mean, are college football's ratings like equal to the NFL, or how is that?
No, I mean, it depends on the area of the country, but I'm almost positive the NFL is higher.
I guess
like,
so.
NFL's still higher because anyone can be a fan of NFL. You didn't have to go there. And granted, there are a ton of UT fans that didn't go to Texas, and Alabama fans that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it still matters a little bit. But what's I saw something the other day that there was a soccer fan crying, and they were like, some American was making fun of him on Twitter for crying after his team lost, and people were just going after this American. They were saying, "You obviously don't know what it's like. You know, you don't get this sport." And I'm like, they don't know that college football exists in the South, because college football on a Saturday in Alabama is unlike anything else. It is that level. I know that soccer is the sport of the world, but college football, especially in the Southeast, like, I just think of Alabama. That's the number one spot between Alabama and Auburn. Like, there's nothing that's like that in America, I would say, probably, you know.
Yeah, you have Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and it's huge in Florida too, obviously, and then obviously Texas too.
I was wondering what players could and couldn't do, and what sponsorships they could get. And so I looked it up, and some states aren't as specific about it. Texas is one that is really specific, but like in Texas, players can't promote alcohol, tobacco products, e-cigarettes, anabolic steroids, sports betting, or sexually oriented businesses. And then, which, all those make sense. But then I saw somewhere where BYU did all of that, but also said caffeine. No caffeine.
Interesting.
Which I guess Mormons can't have caffeine. Here's my question.
I didn't even know that.
Did you not?
No.
Yeah, Mormons can't have caffeine. Which is pre-workout caffeine?
Some might.
Surely
have
it's got to go in that category.
right? Interesting. That was crazy to me. That I mean, it makes sense for a Mormon school, but I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if any schools try to put any sort of limitations on the players. I'm sure like wearing it on the field or
Yeah.
any sort of thing like that, they will, but it'll be interesting to see.
Do you have to be Mormon to go to BYU?
No.
I thought you did for some reason.
Mm-mm.
But surely you have to follow
Yeah, I mean,
specific rules.
it's
being
I mean, it's like a
student
lot of
there.
school, like a lot of schools, like Notre Dame. I know you have to go like your freshman, sophomore year. I know you have to do different stuff.
Is Notre Dame Catholic?
Baylor, you have to take a religion. You have to
Wait,
do
why
different stuff.
Baylor?
It's a Baptist school.
Oh, Baptist. Really? I never knew that.
Funny fact, Baylor and TCU, if you're from Texas, don't like each other. TCU a few years ago did away with any religion classes, so you can go to TCU, and I mean they have religion classes, but it's not you don't have to take them. Like a lot of colleges that are Christian based or any type of faith based, you have to take certain classes. You don't have to at TCU, which how are you even a Christian school then? But whatever.
I never took one at A&M. Did you take
it's
one?
public.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, because it's public, I guess.
Yeah, you don't have to. That's what you were talking about is interesting though, because it'll be really interesting to see what colleges and not even colleges. It goes down to the program level. What programs and coaches completely embrace this and what fight it. There's a quote going around from Dabo Swinney from like 4 years ago where he talked about how he would leave the game whenever players got paid. It's getting taken really out of context because he said pay for play. He's always been a supporter of NIL, which poor dude, he's just kind of getting destroyed on the internet right now. But it'll be interesting because Tyler Granger, y'all's brother, he played at Rice football early 2000s, but he still played college football. And he as soon as he heard this, he was like, that's not going to work. Coaches there's going to be certain, maybe they don't come out and say, you can't do this, you can't do that, but there's going to be certain things. Like, I think that they're going to struggle to keep focus internally. Don't you think?
I agree.
Like especially at some of these big schools, like I think that you're just going to see a lot of athletes just mind elsewhere.
Yep, definitely. Well, and I wonder if it can be used for like recruiting purposes. So like say you have a merch brand and then this big donor is saying, hey, I'll buy $30,000 of your merchandise.
Yeah, and they'll be able to it's like a Shark Tank version where you have like a Mark Cuban at a school who's like, hey, I know people that can get you in wholesale and can get your merch.
It's
and
all the Wild West.
I can
right
get
now.
I can get you into academy. Yep. Yeah, that's a great point because think about the resources at like a University of Texas. If you're in between like going to like UT or like a school with like maybe not the resources and you're like going up against them in recruiting, it's like you're definitely going to want to put your shirts and your merch brand or your potential connections. Like I bet like a big college would have like contacts with agencies that would be able to put you in contact.
100%. Well, and I was wondering about agents because as soon as you like declare for the draft, you can legally go get an agent, but before then you can't. And I was like, well, are they going to change that? You can have an agent in college now, but they do not directly represent you. I don't remember what the wording was, but they can't directly represent you. They can be your marketing agent, which is so dumb. It's just going to be the agent,
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go into our fantasy rankings. What do we have this week, Hayden?
In spirit of the NCAA athlete conversation that we just had, we're going to do, if you were to be a collegiate athlete, what brands would you want to be sponsored by?
So I wrote all of mine down, and then I kind of realized that if you're an athlete, all of this is already covered. And so I don't really know how I feel about it. My first one was Adidas because I wear Adidas tennis shoes all the time. And then I was like, wait, every college athlete just gets unlimited gear already of whatever their school is sponsored by. So that's kind of a lame one, but I guess that was my first one.
Did you know that you can't get if your school is a Nike school, you can't get sponsored by a competing brand like that? Which makes sense, but worth pointing out.
All right, I got one. Am I going next? It's like
Sure.
All right, this is a pretty nerdy one, but I figured I'd start out with this one, and that would be Sony. So I could get all their new camera gear and a PlayStation 5.
Are people getting PlayStation 5s now? Can you even find one now? Like that was
I
the
don't know.
weirdest rollout of a console ever.
But I feel like if I had a Sony sponsorship, I could get one. So there you go.
Theoretically,
And
you could get
we
one.
use all their camera gear stuff, so that would be nice to have the new stuff.
Coors Light. Had to
Mm.
do it to him. I would do a Coors Light sponsorship. It's
Why don't
technically
you just
illegal.
get a Dasani sponsorship, boy? Or Ozarka.
Yeah, someone's gonna say that. Yeah, you can't get an alcohol sponsorship, but those rules don't exist in this game. So I would say Coors Light would be my first pick.
Going with my first pick, I was just kind of thinking, like, as an athlete, what are your needs and everything like that. So I went with Coca-Cola, which is going to sound crazy at first, but Coca-Cola owns Dasani and Powerade. And I always know I was like buying and buying, especially like during like camp, preseason camp, that I would buy like so much Powerade and just water just to keep my fridge stocked and make sure I was all good to go and like hydrated and not passing out during practice or anything like that. So it'd be nice to just have it delivered to me rather than having to go through all
So
of
are you
that.
Powerade over Gatorade?
It depends. I went with Coca-Cola just because, like, I don't know. It was just, I don't really like
That was
Pepsi
next level
that
thinking
much.
because if you go Gatorade, then you wouldn't also get the water and potential soda thrown in.
They do have Aquafina, PepsiCo.
Oh,
Lame.
But I
How
don't
do
know.
you know this stuff?
I don't know.
Such a random thing to know. All right, Parker, what you
I'm
got?
going Xbox. Big Xbox guy.
You would get Xbox?
Don't you have an Xbox?
Yeah, but it's definitely not something I would ever want to be sponsored by. It's like I use it once every month.
Well, there you go.
Golly.
That's all I did in college. I mean, I only never use it now, but I played it every day.
So are you
when I
putting
was in
yourself?
college.
Are you putting yourself as like a college athlete, or is it like you right now?
No, this is a college athlete.
Gotcha.
I don't even own an Xbox.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Raising Cane's.
Mm.
Yeah, that one's
Superior-
good.
Superior chicken above all else.
Above lanes. in the college
Above Bojangles, that's for sure.
station? Wow.
Exxon gas, because I would never have to pay for gas again.
Mm. That's big brain thinking.
That's some
right
big brain
there.
thinking right there. And actually, I probably wouldn't even need a Coors Light sponsorship if I got sponsored by Exxon Gas, because I could just go in and get Coors Light for free all the time, and like Sour Patch Kids and everything else. It'd be awesome.
Coors Light and Sour Patch Kids. That's the Friday night special. All right. Second pick. I think I'd go with Oakley, like the sunglasses. So I just always wear sunglasses. That's always been the brand I get. Plus, I'm like big into snowboarding, and I always get Oakley goggles. Plus, they make pretty like well-made apparel as well. So just all around, I feel like it's a good brand that I'd rock all the time.
Good call. My third and final pick of sponsor that I would choose if I were a college athlete. I'm changing it last minute to, if there's still a company, you can put this in parentheses, if they still exist, question mark, Sharper Image.
What is that?
It's just like a gadget store.
It's
They
where
have
you
all
get
the
a
cool
foot
stuff.
massager, right?
Yeah,
Or like a
it's-
foot
I
bath.
feel like my feet would be sore
Mhm.
if I were an athlete.
It's like back in the early
Theoretically.
2000s,
What is like Radio Shack?
kind of, but they have like more stuff.
Sharper Image? Do you know what that is?
You never heard of
Kinda,
Sharper Image?
like-
No.
It was
I
like the
feel
cool
like-
store you would go to in the mall if you were there with your mom.
They have all that on. Never mind.
They would have like, they were probably the first people to have like remote control like scooters
Mhm.
and like just random like gadgety. I can't even think of one example of something else, but just
like
like,
a chair. Like it would be anything that you could think of that you don't need a remote control for. I think they'd have a remote control
Yeah.
for it.
exactly.
All right, my last pick is Miller Lite. It's my favorite beer.
I feel like
Athlete.
if someone already picked a light beer, you can't pick a light beer. Like you
Miller
could pick a
Coors,
licker.
too.
You could pick a
basically the
liquor,
same.
but I
Yeah.
don't know if
What's your liquor choice?
That is a good question. Maybe a whiskey I'd have to think about that one. I don't know.
You just don't really care, like whiskey, tequila, vodka. You're just
Definitely whiskey.
so you
not
whiskey, but
tequila.
you just don't know a specific whiskey
I
that
just
you're
don't-
like go to.
I don't have a go-to one yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Crown Vanilla, baby.
I saw Crown Vanilla the other day.
Take away my man card now. I don't care.
I saw Crown Vanilla whenever I went by in the liquor store the other day, and I was like, man, I almost got it just for old time's sake, but then I just remembered how I feel after I drink it, and it's just the worst sugar, like, headache ever. It's like, yeah, I can't do that.
That sounds like a future Hayden problem.
Okay.
That does.
I have one more
Wait.
since I did not.
So we're
Get to do
yeah. So
Miller
Miller Lite
Lite.
doesn't count. Okay.
State Farm, because they always have the coolest commercials, the most creative commercials, and the biggest athletes on there.
That
I know
random.
our
You just went from Miller Lite to car insurance.
Yes.
I know our fans, and y'all are going to get roasted.
That's okay. Everyone has car insurance.
Yeah, but it's not like a cool thing.
All right, that's fine.
Brian from State Farm. Oh man.
We're true to ourselves, aren't we,
That's right,
Brian?
yeah, we're not worried about.
I'm gonna go with Amazon. If I can get sponsored by Amazon, I can get anything in the world I need. So
Don't know if that's how it works, but
yeah,
maybe.
well, no, but we didn't specify
We
like
did
if you
not.
get everything in the world or if you just don't get.
So I have a
So it was between that and Bass Pro Shop, but then I was like, I'll just do Amazon.
I have a buddy that works for a really big influencer, and that guy is sponsored by Chipotle. And so he has just an unlimited card, looks like a credit card, has his face on it, says Chipotle, and you just go swipe it at Chipotle, and then everything's free.
Chipotle really needs to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
Man, if you've got that card and you're not buying Chipotle for all the lads on like a Saturday afternoon, you're a terrible friend.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what do you do? What are you even
What are you
doing if
doing?
you're not buying
WYD.
Chipotle?
WYD.
All right, last pick, Ben.
So I was kind of like Parker on his first pick with Adidas because that was exactly where mine went to, like as an athlete and everything. They just make like super light gear, so it was good for heat and everything. But like since that got taken, I think I'll just go with all reliable, and that would be Chick-fil-A for me. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always at Chick-fil-A. I am lucky enough to live about 2 minutes away from one. I could probably walk to it if I wanted to.
Very
But
fortunate.
that was always my favorite. Just crush some sweet tea, good old nuggies, you know.
Some Jesus chicken.
Yes.
Sweet tea and nuggies.
Speaking of chicken, the other day, Ben said, "You know how your phone will like give you suggestions? His phone gave him a suggestion. It said, Are you trying to go to Cane's right now?" Because it was
Yeah.
like 6 p.m. or something.
It was like I was getting in my car. I think it was a weekend. I was actually looking after the quail. And so my phone, if you have like an iPhone, whenever you like pop it, you sit down in your car, you pop open your phone and put music on, it'll have a map suggestion. And it'll say, 17 minutes to home or 17 minutes to wherever. But my phone literally had a notification that said 17 minutes to Raising Cane's. And I was like, I have a problem.
Did you go there?
I did that day.
You did?
It worked.
Shameful.
Dude,
but
I wonder,
I was
there's
planning
something
it
more to
anyway.
that. That's
Cane's
not
Cane's is so good.
that's not the algorithm. That's Cane's literally doing ads through Apple's platform.
weird.
Big
I
brain
know.
stuff. Some honorable mentions that I had: Ben and Jerry's, Whataburger, IKEA.
Mhm.
You would never have to buy furniture again.
Yee Yee
Mm.
Apparel.
Chipotle, Live Nation. You could go to any concert ever. Local car dealership. By the way, you know that local car dealerships are like so hyped about this new thing. Like they're just gonna get
Mhm.
every athlete in their town. Local college bar. If like the top bar in that place. Like if you
Mm.
could just get free drinks there, that'd be awesome.
Good one.
Bojangles and Bass Pro Shop.
Let's be honest, those guys are getting free drinks anyway
That's true.
That's true.
at local bars.
That's really true.
If they're smart. If the bar owners are smart.
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, they definitely are. All right. That was fun. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for joining. Eat your veggies.
Bye.